In this video, we're going to talk about why you should not apply to PA school, pharmacy school, or nursing school if your goal is to become a doctor and go to medical school. Probably just this week, I've had 3, maybe 4 people in my DMs on Instagram asking me if they should go to one of these other programs first and then apply to medical school. And some of these people actually had that plan already before we talked. And this would be a big mistake if your actual goal is to become a doctor. And honestly, I don't know why so many people I see from students that have this impression that literally, I'm not kidding. Every single week I hear, I'm going to go to nursing school first and then I'm going to be a doctor. Look, if your goal is to go to medical school and become a doctor, you are going to really increase the overall time it takes to get there and really distract yourself from the ultimate goal by trying to apply to another graduate program or another career in healthcare. If you truly want to be a doctor, then you should work on being a doctor from the very beginning, and you should take the most direct path to going to medical school. Now, this doesn't mean you might not take gap years and you might be a non-traditional student. That's totally okay. But some students start out as a traditional pre-med, or they thought they were, like freshman, sophomore year, with the goal of being a nurse first and then years later becoming a doctor. That is not a good idea, and for a variety of reasons, which we're going to get to in this video. So the first reason that this is not the best idea is because when you are writing your medical school application, you want to show that your ultimate goal was to become a doctor and that you really understand what healthcare is like, what the landscape is like, and why specifically you want to be a physician. If you have been taking nursing classes your entire time during pre-med and then all of a sudden you apply to medical school, there's going to be a disconnect as to why you actually want to become a doctor. It might look like that last minute you just changed your mind and decided to apply to medical school, even though your entire background was in nursing. And this is not going to look great on your actual application. Now, this doesn't mean you can't change your mind, but if you from the very beginning knew you wanted to be a doctor, it doesn't make sense to bring this extra obstacle into your application. And on top of this, some of the nursing classes that you take, like the orgo maybe for nursing, might be different than general orgo that you would take as a pre-med student. And sometimes those classes can qualify, but other times you might have to go back and retake the formal pre-med prereq that is offered at your school. The second reason that this is just not a good idea is because it is going to make the timeline of getting to becoming a doctor just much longer. The opportunity cost of not becoming a doctor right away is much more significant than most people think. So if you're going to, let's say, someone was saying they're going to go to pharmacy school first. So you're going to have to go to 3 to 4 years of pharmacy school, pay for that, which is probably going to be more loans. Then I don't know what the plan is there. Are you not going to actually work as a pharmacist, or maybe work a couple years, and then you're going to have to restart the process of taking the MCAT, taking more classes, and then applying to medical school. And all this time you could have just been working towards getting into medical school and becoming a doctor if, again, that was what you wanted to do. This is not to say that these other fields in healthcare aren't great. We have a lot of students that we work with that also go into a PA program or nursing or dental or pharmacy. However, if your actual goal is to become a physician, then it doesn't make sense to veer off path from the very beginning. If you didn't know that, and let's say you went to pharmacy school and then you realize later down the line that you want to be a doctor, that's a different story. And the last reason it just doesn't make much sense to me to try to go to an alternate field in healthcare first and then switch over to being a doctor, if again from the very beginning that you knew that was your plan to become a doctor, is because you are splitting your focus. And when you do that and you have a plan B, or you're not putting all your time and attention into actually becoming a doctor, you will see ultimately that your results will slip. I see this time and time again with students. If their focus isn't on becoming a doctor right away, and that's where they're putting all their energy, then more times than not, they don't end up becoming a doctor. I've very rarely seen the person who says, oh, I'm going to go be a nurse first and then switch over, actually become a nurse. Again, this is different than if you are a nurse already and then you said, you know what, I want to actually go back, do a post-bac and go to medical school. That's completely different than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I see a lot of freshmen, sophomore students, or incoming high school students who just have no clue how the system works, and they think that you can just make a quick jump from nursing into becoming a physician, or being a PA into becoming a physician. That's not how it works at all. You have to completely go back, do all the pre-med prereqs, and take the MCAT and apply to medical school as if you are starting from the beginning. Now, maybe you have some classes that you've taken that would count as the prereqs, depending on how many years ago they were taken. If it's more than 7 sometimes, or each school is different, but some schools from, if it's a good amount of years ago, won't actually consider those classes, and you'll have to retake it anyway. And so a lot of students don't realize this, and so it's important to be educated on the topic when you're making your game plan for what you want to do with your career, especially when it comes to something as complex as going to medical school and becoming a doctor. And so that's why I made videos like this, and I hope that this was very helpful and informative for you. If you are interested in getting more pre-med coaching and advising like this, as well as a full MCAT prep program and help with the entire application process, then you can click the link below and schedule a call with me or someone from my team, and we'll talk about how we can help you get into medical school. And with that said, I wish you all the best of luck. If you are interested in learning more about pre-med, then I encourage you to like and subscribe this video. We are really going to be putting out a ton of content this year, and we hope you will be along with the journey with us.